Good afternoon and welcome to Pittsburgh City Council's public hearing for Wednesday, October 12th, 2022, relative to Bill 2022-0782. Will the clerk please read the title of the bill?
Bill 782, a resolution amending Resolution Number 130 of 2018, effective January 1st, 2018, by updating the continued designation of an Oakland Business Improvement District.
Thank you. And for the record, we're joined today by Councilmember Bruce Kraus, and other members may be joining us shortly. The first order of business will be an introduction presentation by Georgia Petropoulos from the Oakland Business Improvement District. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Leah Friedman, also of the Oakland Business Improvement District, helping with the presentation as well. Following that will be testimony from our registered speakers. And for the record, we've been joined by Councilman Daniel Lavelle.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Council. Good afternoon, Councilman. And thank you for chairing. Good afternoon. I am Georgia Petropoulos, the Chief Executive Officer of the Oakland Business Improvement District. And I have today just a brief PowerPoint presentation, which I believe our viewers can also see online. And then I have a few items that I'll be speaking through that are here distributed to the council members, and the documents will also be up on the presentation. So thank you for having us here today. So regarding support for today, I do understand these were letters that were submitted formally to the clerk's office. Thank you. But I just wanted to recognize that we did receive letters of support from Merland Associates Limited Partnership, Andrew Molnar, MR3 Development on behalf of the Oakland Portal Partners, Walnut Capital, the Pittsburgh Innovation District, the University of Pittsburgh, and UPMC. There may be more. I just wanted to note that in terms of what I've received as CC. So thank you all. So here we are today to speak about Oakland First. So our organization is very proud to be driven by a mission to ensure Oakland's place as Pennsylvania's global center. And we do this by focusing on key categories that are necessary for maintaining a thriving, strong commercial district. We focus on placemaking, economic vitality, building capacity of our business community and our property owner community, expanding critical partnerships, both local, regional, and national, and leveraging support, whether it's cash resource, in-kind resource, human resource, any support that we can get, we leverage that to maximize and benefit our community. Here you will see the boundary map of the Business Improvement District that's in central Oakland. Today, we are not proposing any changes to this boundary line map. This is the same boundary line map that contains the parcels that have been in existence since the beginning of the bid. So no changes today are being proposed to the boundary line map. Just a little bit to talk about our operations. So we are led by, on average, a 27-person to 30-person board. We have 5 full-time staff members. In addition to that, we contract various services, from cleaning contract program to IT services to marketing and events, and that brings us anywhere from 7 to 10 additional part and full-time staff that assist us through contracts. There are 13 property owners that were on the board of this fiscal year 2022, which does include Pitt, UPMC, and Carlo. There are 3 of those 13, but that represents 20% of the property ownership of Oakland. We serve 170 parcels, again represented by 65 owners, and we have over 150 businesses and growing. In this year's budget, where our annual assessment was approximately $600,000, which supported 41% of our budget. And then there was, of that assessment, that real estate assessment, 12% did come from the University of Pittsburgh and UPMC's taxable property. In addition to the $600,000 assessment, we also leverage an additional 30% from our partners, the University of Pittsburgh, UPMC, and Carlo, of approximately $430,000, and that's 30% of our budget. The remaining budget we fundraise. We've been successful with grants, whether it's government, foundation, as well as contracts, and as well as sponsorships. So for every dollar that we've raised on average, we get $2 additional in services to maximize the assessments. Our focus and programs are street sweeping and maintenance, beautification, design and placemaking, marketing and events, advocacy and outreach, and business development and recruitment. So here you will see our number one contractual program, which is one of the most important, vital pieces to what we do, is our clean and safe, the sidewalk maintenance and the sidewalk sweeping that is done by our team. We have very proud. We have a 5-person team that's out every day in Oakland, no matter what the weather. And as you can see here, the statistics are striking in terms of how you manage a major downtown center and how we make sure that we keep it clean and ready for the public to experience and to enjoy our community. So we collect tons of trash. You can see here there's almost over 15 tons annually, incredible amount of cigarette butts, removal of stickers, the cleaning of larger items that are found in places that many of us probably do not see, that my team makes sure they're seeing. So we have a very successful group that keeps Oakland looking sparkling and attractive. We do a series of events. Here you'll just see just a sampling of the types of events we do, whether it's in our commercial district. We partner and support events in and around our district, and we even partner and support of regional events to put Oakland on the map and to put Oakland customers on the map. So here you will see a few samplings, and I just wanted to note that even before the pandemic struck, we actually closed off streets in Oakland to be able to do events and attract populations. Winter, summer, spring, we maximize the open space as best that we can. Here you will also see a series of design elements and placemaking that was started. Again, these programs were started in 2018, leading right up to the pandemic, which we'll speak to in a little bit. We started to add vibrancy, and we started to transform the look of the public place and the public sphere. In today's day and age, customers want to be in places that are attractive, that are colorful, that are vibrant, that are fun, that are interactive, and we wanted to make sure that our commercial district was starting to reflect that. We added decorative lighting. We added really unique and colorful tables and chairs. We added public art. We added benches. This was just a swath of programming that we did. And I should note this was in partnership with many Oakland organizations, from Pittsburgh Innovation District to our university and hospital partners, and it just transformative. And we heard positive remarks from the business owners to keep doing it because it really does make the difference in the community. Here also, you will begin to see what we did then since the pandemic. As we all know, that the 2020 was a year of incredible transformation for our society and our world. Major businesses had to shut down. The public stayed home. It was an extremely trying time, very trying time for our business community, our restaurant community, and honestly for the general public. Safety was the number one priority. That was priority number one for all of the public. And then priority number two was how can we make sure we keep our businesses open, keep them flourishing, and assist the activity in the district. So here you will see where today we have programming that is left from the pandemic. We have public art elements. We have now permanent seating. There was likely a time in not just in Oakland, but probably throughout Pittsburgh, that if I would have come to city council and asked to take over parking spaces, probably would have not gone over very well. What we've shown, though, is actually when you build it, they come. Customers really want to be able to have options for dining, in particular outdoor dining. Restaurants now are asking us to continue to add more. They're seeing the difference, and it's making a tremendous difference for our community. So it started out temporary due to the unfortunate impact of the pandemic, but now it's become a reality and because it's extremely successful. And I'm proud that Oakland actually led that cause for Pittsburgh. As also, we are also advocates. So I understand that many of our business community and property owner community and institutions will come one-on-one to the city and to council to voice their concerns and any items that they would like to see changed. And it's one thing when it's 1 or 5 people. What I always like to say is I'm proud that OBID, what's another thing when we represent the voice of 200 to 300 stakeholders and property owners, it really does make the difference. So we're here to make sure that we organize the voice. We're here to make sure that we advocate on their behalf. And really we're advocating for Pittsburgh, because as long as Oakland remains strong and vibrant, this will continue to also strengthen the city of Pittsburgh as well. So just real quick on the pandemic, we can't not mention that because that was transformative in the last almost 3 years now in terms of what it did. So again, as I noted, like every other business district community across the world, we shut down and we had to act fast. And so transforming the outdoor spaces was critical number one, which is what we did. Again, with safety in mind, we created a safety program, a communication program that was out along the sidewalks, in the public, spray painted. As you were looking down, you would see spray painting stick items reminding you to keep your mask on, to keep a 6-foot distance. These are things that we may take for granted today, but the shock of our system in 2020 on how to do this. So we did a mass communication campaign for the public. In addition to taking over parking spaces for dining, we also worked with the city of Pittsburgh to incorporate parking spaces for delivery drivers. That was the number one thing too. As the public was concerned about leaving their home, they still, though, were able to spend their money, order online, and have food delivered. So we accommodated that as well. We added floral, we added greenery. We did what we can to make it a comfortable and safe space. We had various campaigns, from our own campaign, which was Support Oakland, to regional campaign, Choose Local. We supported as well, which was managed by our partner at Sustainable Pittsburgh. So any chance we got, we added our business community to be able to get the word out for people to, if they couldn't come, we definitely wanted them to order food online and or to order gift cards. Yeah, and speaking of, there it is. So our gift cards, which was transformative. We sold over 3,200 gift cards, which in essence raised $70,000 for the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank. We helped nearly 30 storefronts keep their doors open. This was a great way for bringing instant cash to the restaurant storefront, and customers themselves were also interested in supporting our businesses in any way they can. So it was a very successful program. And here we also see some images of what it looked like just having water-filled barriers and fast tables and chairs and umbrellas that were put out for the public. So here we need to show the impact. So OBID contracted a tech company this year called Placer AI. They are a company that will monitor your movements through your phone. We're not the only organization that uses this company. They're actually used internationally. Many business improvement districts and downtown management organizations work with companies like this to be able to monitor the foot traffic in the district. And the good news is we actually can show that we have more foot traffic today in 2022 than we did in 2019. So the efforts of what's been done in the last 2 years continue to benefit the district and continue to draw foot traffic and bring us not only back to a healthy point, but we're now hoping to continue to thrive and build on this and continue to grow. So we are right now crunching the fall numbers. These numbers are leading right up until the summer. We anticipate the numbers are going to be even higher. So we're very excited that our growth, we have a comeback and we're growing. And just to add more to how you can show the impact of how the bid and partners have helped our district come back, but also grow. Since 2021, we've actually seen 13 new businesses open up in the district. Unfortunately, we did have some business loss that was impacted by the pandemic. Less than 1%, though, business closure, which continues to be a strong indicator of the commercial district. We unveiled Oakland's first retail pop-up shop called Argyle Studio in partnership with UPMC that provided us the space in kind, and the Pittsburgh Innovation District, and funded by the county grant. We were able to open up a unique pop-up that helped an additional 30 artists and vendors who were also negatively impacted by the pandemic. And in addition to that, our partner, the Pittsburgh Innovation District, that manages a very vibrant, thriving co-working startup community, they're proud to also see growth within startups in Oakland. We're now at 30, and we're continuing to see increase there too. And the district is booming. So here we have six we have renderings of 6 buildings, of which I believe 2 are already underway, and the additional 4 are waiting to get underway. This is just within the 5th and Forbes corridor, within the boundaries of the Business Improvement District, although the proposed Oakland Crossing, majority of that will be along the Boulevard of the Allies and a few other streets, but a portion of that is also in the current bid. So it's quite exciting. Yes. Yes, that's the one in the middle, the top row in the middle, exactly. So that's a student housing development project, mixed use, that's currently under construction on the former gas station site, right? Just to note, what I'll note on the top left is the UPMC, the tower that's underway on 5th Avenue. In the middle, as I just noted on the top, is underway at the former gas station site. The top right corner is the large-scale mixed-use development proposed as Oakland Crossing. The bottom left is a Pride, another housing. It's called Oakland Pride. It's a housing facility that will be for seniors, assisting LGBTQ plus seniors. The bottom middle actually is the building proposed for the 5th Avenue Tower, I believe that is. Yes, the 5th Avenue Innovation Tower. And then the bottom right corner is the District Hall at the former CVS site on Forbes Avenue. And again, there's only 2 so far that are under construction, the top 2 on the left. These are going to bring thousands of more people into our commercial district, more office workers, it's more students, more people living in Oakland. It's just going to be transformative. So we're very excited about that. Do I have more? Thank you, Leah. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that this year we're also excited that we are unveiling Oakland's first signature event, Glowland, which is a lighting festival that's going to be kicking off on November 18th, the weekend of the 18th, leading for a month. It will revolve around an international art play interactive installation. They are large-scale seesaws that light up with sound. They will be in Schenley Plaza. This will be the first time Pittsburgh has had an installation like this, and we're very excited about it. Leah, actually, who's here today guiding us through this PowerPoint, she is the person to contact. If you haven't heard about it, you definitely will. There'll be more coming through, but that's a very exciting piece. So that is one of various types of programming that we want to continue to have as we see Oakland as the global center of not only Pittsburgh, but really for Pennsylvania. We need to start having these types of festival events and installations that will draw the types of the tourism that we know that Pittsburgh can draw and Oakland can draw. So we're going to talk a little bit about what I have for you today is to talk a little bit about what we're proposing for the next 5 years and how our board and staff put together a great plan. And here you will see that the goal is to increase programming, increase services, and to also add in new services. We will definitely be increasing our personnel as part of that. Through our cleaning program, we'll be increasing the people power on the streets as well as their services. Now with all of the additional outdoor dining, we know that's going to continue to grow. We need people to keep the areas clean and to keep all of our outdoor furniture items clean and sparkling as well. So we're excited about that. We're definitely going to increase our placemaking. When we talk about placemaking, it's anything from flowers, flower baskets, sidewalk planters, tables and chairs, interactive art installations, painting, playful sort of interactive games, live music. These are the things that transform place, which would also transform the community. And today, if you're not paying attention to placemaking, you really are working against the health of your district. This is what the public wants. This is what the public enjoys, and we want to make sure that we can provide that in our community. We're going to increase the lighting. So again, additional items of placemaking, anywhere from banners to decorative lighting. Again, the outdoor cafes are extremely popular. Not only will we maintain what we've just put out, we also want to expand opportunities as more open space can open up in Oakland. And then we look forward to this year with our partners in downtown, Northside, and North Shore. We will be installing pedestrian kiosks and information systems as well, again, to accommodate this large population that Oakland draws. We are very excited about a new signage system. In terms of marketing and branding, we definitely want to make sure our branding is keeping up with promoting Oakland as the center of a thriving innovation district. We definitely want to continue our digital marketing and outreach campaigns, not only promoting individual restaurants and retailers, but also promoting activities, just making sure that all the various diverse members of our public are aware of what's happening in Oakland. Of course, Glowland is a signature event we're going to kick off and continue, but we want to continue to see these types of events multi-season to accommodate the different populations of Oakland. And of course, pop-ups, winter festivals, live music festivals, the different types of events and opportunities that we want to do to draw people in different seasons. So what you do in a winter could be very different from the types of activities you can offer in the summer. So again, just maximizing giving people reasons to come into Oakland, in addition to, of course, our fabulous community for as it is today. Business vitality. So this is a big one. Again, we talked about some of the strategies that we used during the pandemic and we continue to use to make sure our businesses are healthy and they thrive, and how we can continue to attract more diverse businesses. So we're in the midst of kicking off a vision plan, an Oakland Retail Vision Plan. We need to also be ready when these large new developments that are proposed to be mixed use will come on board. We will have more space that's available, so we want to be ready. And we also want to be ready in terms of how we can have a retail mix for what we're calling an 18-hour district. So for 18 hours of the day, we have various populations that want to come in for different services, different amenities, different for leisure, and we want to make sure that we have a diverse mix of businesses so that during that time we always have foot traffic in the business district. We will do this with assisting property owners as well as assisting our business owners on how we can implement the plan. And again, in anticipation of the new projects that will be coming on board, we have to be ready, and we want to make sure that our property owner community is ready as well. We will continue to increase pop-ups so we can try out new ideas, new concepts. Again, thanks to many of our property owner partners, including the universities and hospitals, we get access to storefronts so we can try out, just as we just did with Argyle Studio. And curbside uses, this is another thing we're looking at, and I know the city of Pittsburgh is looking at that for all of our commercial districts, which is wonderful, but this is a new day. Today, the consumer and the way we do business is very different, in particular because of the pandemic. So we really have to maximize efficiencies along our curbside. So we need parking, no doubt, but we also need opportunities for temporary drop-off, for deliveries. There's all new services that are coming online in today's consumer world, and we want to make sure our curbside management is accommodating that as well. And then in addition, as I said, the advocacy. We will continue to organize the voice of the community. We will continue to support the needs of this growing innovation district and all the partners involved. And a very big piece of what my board is 100% behind, and I do know that our leadership here today and the mayor's office, from all city council members, we are also here to help increase access, increase affordable housing, and we're here to increase economic, social, and racial justice how we can. We are a business community, and it is our duty to make sure that we support and are behind these transformations needed for our community. So that's what we have on the PowerPoint, and I just wanted to now walk through, if I can. We do have some proposed changes to the legislation language, which does include some changes to the increase in the cap for the annual amount that we can raise in our assessments, as well as increasing the cap, and I'm going to stress the cap of the millage rate. Although we do not anticipate even meeting this cap, we just wanted to incorporate it in so that our board can make sure that we are doing what's necessary to accommodate the Oakland that is currently changing and underway. So I'm just going to read a few more items, and then we can also begin to speak to the budget. So if you just give me a few seconds, Leah, and there we go. So as I noted, and I think everyone here today can clearly see, if you come through Oakland, you will experience the transformation underway. But there is a formidable remaking of Oakland. Driven by our universities and hospitals, our community has formed a center of innovation recognized throughout the world. As we experience this tremendous growth, the demand on our programming and resources is also increasing. We understand that in today's market, a vibrant and attractive place is critical for our stakeholders to maintain a competitive advantage. Whether you're a university, a hospital, a small property owner, a restaurant owner, or if you own a retail establishment, you need to have a place that people are comfortable to come to. This is going to continue to add to your competitive edge. OBID wants to provide these level of services and amenities that we know are fitting to our expanding and vibrant district. In preparation for this bid renewal, our board of directors engaged the professional services of a nationally recognized bid management consultant to assist with developing a growth strategy to align the organization's funding, structure, and operations with our strategic plan that was completed in 2021. The plan, again, calls for expanding programs and services in support of Oakland's growing innovation district and identifies priority goals related to the public realm, to economic vitality, partnerships, and identity. We conducted extensive research into peer cities such as Philadelphia, Seattle, and Iowa City. We analyzed property, land, and building values to forecast anticipated future changes, and we developed reasonably modest budgets that would assist us in expanding services while remaining in line with best practices for place management organizations nationally. So we did develop that service plan. It's required to keep up with the pace of the exponential growth that's underway, and we want to make sure that our program and services will reinforce Oakland's density and dynamism. So guided by these recommendations, the board of directors is pursuing the action required to reauthorize the bid today and is recommending the following 5-year growth strategy in support of this service plan. This will include maintaining the existing bid geographic boundary line, continuing to leverage funds to match the assessments raised, including the goal for a dollar-for-dollar cash and in-kind contributions from our institutional partners, the continued growth of our revenue sources, including grants and event revenues, which we've been very successful at and we continue to see success in. We are proposing an initial assessment of 3.7 mils for fiscal year 2023. To calculate that, that's 3.7 cents per $1,000 of total taxable value. And then the 5-year millage rate could be adjusted between 3.5 and the cap of 4.5. But as you'll see today, I have a 5-year budget here showing you that we will definitely not be nearing that cap. And then an annual assessment growth of 10% to allow for inflation and for increase of costs. And before I get to the budget, I just wanted to show you one diagram. Leah, if you could put up the assessment spreadsheet of the past years, please. Thank you. So just to put this in perspective, here we are, of course, our current fiscal year of millage rate of 2022 is at 3.315. If we go back to 2012, in 2012 we were at 3.7 mils, of which we are proposing for 2023. As you can see here, we actually decreased it to a point in fiscal year 2019, the year before the pandemic. We actually were at the lowest ever at 2.9 mils. So our board managed it so that we were able to actually decrease the rates while we were increasing services and while we were fundraising. And so again, even the proposed fiscal year 2022 of 3.7 is nearly where we were over 10 years ago. And then now I'll just show the budget, of which there is, and by the way, there are copies of both of those documents in the folders as well, the budget and the millage rate. So this is just to give you an idea of what we are forecasting in the next 5 years that I put together here in a spreadsheet. Again, as we said, we are proposing for fiscal year 2023 to increase to 3.7 mils, a minor increase, to be able to get us to raising $750,000 in assessments. This, of course, will get us to a $1.6 million budget as we leverage the additional dollars from our partners and from various grants and contributions. And very excited. And that gives us the opportunity to begin to not only maintain, but increase the programming and services as I had just described. As you'll see here, just to show you what I forecasted for the next 5 years, we estimate, so as you know, our business improvement district is, our services are provided through a millage rate that's against the land and building value of taxable properties in our district. So what we do is we monitor and we try to estimate what the land and building values will be forecasted for the coming years. So in that column, in that row called total land and building value, again, these are estimates, but what we try to take into consideration are the completion and addition of many of these new development projects that we just talked about. So as you'll see, the 3.7 mils, the opportunity would be to maintain that in 2024, and then we would even see a decrease again in 2025. Again, I'm being very conservative in my estimation here. There's a good chance that the last 2 years of this 5-year bid assessment will also decrease, but we feel very comfortable that we will remain within the millage rate that our property owner community has been used to seeing in the last 10 years, and still increase the assessment and still increase the services and the programming that's needed in the district. So by fiscal year 2027, we will be operating at a little over $2 million, which is very much what we heard when we were doing our review of comparable bids across the country. That is a budget that is comparable to what was needed, and in particular what's needed for the growth of an innovation district is what we have happening in Oakland. What I also did is sort of broke out as well. As you can see, the expense categories and services do line up with what we presented here today in our PowerPoint. And it's just very exciting to be able to see us not only maintaining what we have, but beginning to provide the transformative public space that really aligns with the transformation of what's happening in our district. So thank you for the time. I did take a little bit extra to make sure we went through thoroughly, but if there are any questions, I'm here to answer, and thank you. We're very excited.
Thank you, Georgia, for the very thorough presentation, and we will now move to testimony from registered speakers. Please give your name and address for the public record. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address council, and our first registered speaker is Mike Madden. Is Mike online? Yes. We can hear you.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. My name is Mike Madden, and I'm professionally representing the Pittsburgh Innovation District. We're located at 218 Oakland Avenue. On behalf of the Pittsburgh Innovation District, I want to make our clear and full and total support of the continued designation of the Oakland Business Improvement District. As a close partner with OBID, we have directly benefited from their talent, resources, and commitment by the organization and its staff as we jointly work to create Oakland into Pittsburgh's premier global urban innovation center. We strongly believe the Oakland Business Improvement District has and will continue to play a leading role in helping Oakland achieve its full potential as one of our state's most critical employment centers. The Pittsburgh Innovation District greatly appreciates the efforts of OBID in keeping our community clean, attractive, and vibrant. We have partnered with OBID closely on a number of successful projects related to street activation, placemaking, cosmetic and pedestrian enhancements, business attraction, and response and recovery in the aftermath of COVID-19. We believe Oakland is a rising blueprint for progressive urban design and vitality. The next several years will show that Oakland is a neighborhood that has nearly unmatched levels of investment and world-class potential. My organization is confident OBID will continue to help Oakland's rise, and we are in full support of their continued designation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Phyllis Wexler. Okay, thank you. Now we will open it up to unregistered speakers. Please give your name and address for the public record. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address council. Is there anyone who wishes to address council?
Good afternoon. My name is Yvonne F. Brown. I live at I live in K. Lee Rivers Tires. I don't live in Oakland, but at one time when I had my transportation, I was over there quite a bit. But I want to bring to mind that during we had an open hearing, and there's a man, and I can't think of his name, I'm sorry, but he's from Panther Hollow, over there in your Oakland area. And he had a sign when he first was up here speaking, and I was in the back, and it says, I don't know what it said, but Kraus, who was the president at that time, was over the meeting. He says, I take it very seriously, and you cannot, if you don't put the sign down, you can't speak. I was behind him, and I had said, he should be able to show his sign. So then they let him, he did let him speak. He let him show the sign. But the sign had that Pitt was raping Panther Hollow. Now, Kraus was saying he couldn't say that because he takes rape seriously. What I wanted to know is from this lady here, and I'm sorry I didn't catch your full name, but can you anyway find out, if I find out what the man's name is there any way I can get in contact with you and you can talk to him so he can tell you? Because Kraus chased him out of here, in which he does, like he chased me. I mean, he really was on this man and hollering at this man because he had put the word rape. Now, this is the type of stuff that we go through whenever we're speaking. If they don't agree with you, they will shut you up and tell you can't speak, which the law doesn't say that. As long, I believe if I don't come in here calling you names and threatening you, I should be able to speak how I want to speak. I'm a very animated person, and that's part of me. And even when I went to college, I took public speaking, and we were taught that we're supposed to be animated. This is the way they teach us. But here, Kraus says, I must look forward. But he got up from the table and actually went and started talking to my councilman, which they started a conversation. I started screaming, no, I got 3 minutes. Don't talk to him. Do you understand what I'm saying? That if we come and they don't agree with us, they will cut us down. I still keep coming because you need to know, even if I don't live in your community, I know how a person from Oakland was treated like a dog. I mean, like he was an inhuman. Treated him like he was a black person. Because most of the time, and I'm not being prejudiced, but it's the truth, white people get treated better in this room than what black people do. I've been coming here 22 years, I know. And I'm an elder citizen, which makes me mad sometimes because I feel like I'm doing some type of respect. Even if you don't care for me, I come here anytime I possibly can to let you know what my community needs. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Are there any others who wish to address council? Any others who wish to address council? Seeing none, we will move on to council members' questions and reactions. Councilman Kraus, I'll start with you. Do you have any questions or comments?
All comments. Thank you, Madam Chair. Georgia, your presentation was spectacular. You are always the consummate professional. I've never known a minute when you have come into this chamber that you have not done your homework and been thoroughly prepared to plead your case before council. I cannot imagine Oakland without the business improvement district and the services, the fundamental services that you provide year in and year out. I have nothing more to offer other than my full unwavering support of you, the Oakland Vid, the work that you do. And again, I can't imagine Oakland operating without the OVID. So with that, I will offer my full support. I will absolutely be voting in favor of the continuation of the Oakland Business Improvement District, and I will turn it over to my other members to make comment or ask questions.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Lavelle.
I'll simply echo everything Councilman Kraus had to say, and thank you for being here. I do have one question. As you're probably aware, the URA is working to push more dollars out to be supportive of outdoor dining. And as we were sort of having a board briefing discussing it, a couple questions just came up. What's the latest in the season that you see outdoor dining still thriving?
And thank you both, you and Councilman Kraus as well, for your support. That's very kind. So the outdoor dining that we have right now, because of the material, it's wood and steel, in some cases metal and wood, and we will also be adding lighting. It's recommended that at least before winter sets in, by beginning to mid-November, we begin to take those down, put them in storage, because the goal is to bring them back out. And then if you are typically if you're a sit-down restaurant and you're a customer that will come for dinner and you may be there for 2 hours, it's cold temps that you're not going to want to come into outdoor dining. However, coffee shops, on the other hand, for example, are have customers that are more than willing to put on the winter coat, put on a scarf, and be outside for 20 to 30 minutes drinking a cup of coffee. So a few of our coffee shops have actually asked us if we could extend outdoor dining even into the beginning of December. But again, the material product that we have right now, the manufacturers recommended that they come out as soon as we drop below 32 and we start to see snow. But again, if you had tables and chairs that you can put along sidewalks, especially if you're something like a coffee shop or a tea shop, you will have customers that will probably take advantage of that.
And is there a sort of a policy reason why, like, you all have not done permanent outdoor dining yet, correct?
No, we do remove, yes, correct. We do remove it for the winter months, which are typically between November, and we start to bring them out mid-March again.
Okay. And that's your OBID policy. That has nothing to do with city policy, does it?
Yes, that's what we do. But as far as I know, there isn't anything designated by city, although you do have to have a permit to be able to put it out, and our permits are in place that we could keep them out. So,
no, it's just something that came up as I noticed there was one restaurant downtown. I guess it got cold, but they didn't take it away. They simply just stacked it on the street, which I found interesting. Saying, okay, well, that's now not helpful to the city if you're just going to leave it on the street. But I knew you all didn't, so I was curious. Yeah. Was that a city policy we had, or was that just your policy? Okay.
I should add, during the pandemic, we actually did have a permanent. It was actually permanent. It was a deck that was installed on Oakland Avenue when we had closed off the street, and that was out for 2 years. Again, customers won't use that in the cold of winter and snow. But we actually had to sort of tape it off just because if it did get covered in snow, we wanted to just have it removed before anyone utilized it.
Have any of your restaurants expressed the interest in using tents so they could operate in the winter and/or those domes?
There has been. We have looked into how we can do that, how we can add some heating elements, and that is something that the current system that we have installed does accommodate if we wanted to add in heating. The challenge with that is how you power it, whether it's gas line or electrical line. And so we would need to look into those types of actions. But again, usually it would be a sit-down establishment that would want to accommodate that, as opposed to restaurant establishment that might be more fast casual, as they're referred to, and that, customers may stay for 5 or 10 minutes and or do takeout. But there has been a request for us to look into it. Right now, though, my restaurants, the handful that those who do take advantage of an extended sit-down, are currently fine with removing off of the street until we figure out if it's possible to have heating elements.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman. I will echo what the others have said and just state that I don't think Oakland would be Oakland without OBID, and to emphasize and underscore all that you have done over the years, and increasingly noticeable with additional programming and work through the COVID pandemic. And I think often, it's come to my attention, or I recognize working for the city that I used to be part of the crowd that would say, oh, hey, they put out, placemaking here. I didn't call it placemaking, but sidewalk cafes, parking space cafes, something like Lowland that's coming. Look, they put out mini golf in the alleyway. And, most people, whether they're a student or whether they're a faculty or staff member of a university, whether they work or live in Oakland, it might not occur to them that there are people behind that work, and the people are OBID and you and your organization. So thank you for all of that. I think oftentimes it goes unspoken. And I also wanted to point out that you have a very diverse income stream. It would be fairly easy if you really wanted to probably rely on the income sources that are part of most bids, but you go out of your way to find funding from grants and contracts and event income, and I just wanted to highlight that because that's impressive, and it really is something I know that you've been focusing on. My two questions are, for the proposed amendment to the legislation, what do you think the implication, if anything, would be for the city to raise the cap and raise the mill?
So for the purposes of, we wanted to have it in the legislation language to allow for if there were any changes or adjustments in the next 5 years that the board could review and contemplate what's needed for the district. So right now, the two things we're increasing the annual cap, and we're in terms of the amount of assessment, and we're also, which is what we currently do. Our current bid allows for a inflationary increase to the cap per year, so we're continuing that. But it also provides a cap so that the board could adjust and raise and lower to be able to meet that goal of raising the funds. And as we know, land and building value changes annually, so we just wanted to make sure there was a level of language that gave them what they needed, because they are stewards of the commercial district. So we are here to make sure that the programming and the services continue to come out, which not only will help Oakland thrive, but really we know this is the game-changing moment for the city of Pittsburgh. As Oakland becomes the economic center, it continues to become the key economic employment center, the job creator. It will behoove the city in particular to make sure that this servicing continues. And so we wanted to make sure that the board had the tools they needed each year as they evaluate how we can make sure we can accommodate that provision of service. Because that's what's being paid. What's the support here is for services, and the services are here to make sure this district continues to thrive. And this not only will benefit our backyard as it should, but it really also benefits Pittsburgh. If we are continually to be the growing downtown center, we will definitely need to make sure that we have this programming in place. There is no downtown that anyone would experience or go to in the United States, Canada, many parts of Europe, where you don't have a public-private partnership like this. And again, even I myself, before entering the industry, was not aware of how many downtowns I had visited. Times Square. Who would have ever thought Times Square was managed by a business improvement district? But it is. There's actually 60 bids in New York City. From Chicago to Boston to Philadelphia, any city you've been to. It's that behind the scenes, it's the stakeholders that always supported these additional services to make sure that their centers were competitive. So it's no surprise that Oakland, which is a downtown center, has a bid and will continue to have a thriving bid because with 100,000 plus people daily and just growing, when you have that large number of foot traffic, you cannot sustain that on services provisioned by a city. You have to be able to provide above and beyond. Typical of malls, typical of lifestyle centers, anywhere you go that's going to have a concentration of restaurant, retail, office, hotels, apartment buildings, employers, you have to manage the public space and the domain. And so the board needed to make sure that it provides these services. That's what we're here responsible for. They're great stewards of the dollars. They're great stewards of how they invest it. And we just wanted to make sure that we had a language that could accommodate that.
Thank you. That answers my question and more, and I'm sure then can translate into answering questions for other council members as we discuss this. I have no further comments. I just want to thank you again for this, the work that you do, this presentation, very thorough, and the conversation we've had today. Thanks to all the speakers and attendees. And having exhausted the business of this public hearing, this meeting is adjourned.